like really no more than 30 questions. So I just have to be really concise. So I just want to make sure that we understand every single topic in the lesson. So today we're talking about parallel and perpendicular lines, So let's talk about, first of all, what do you guys know about a parallel line? They never meet. Okay, what else? Like if you were to think about, I'm gonna flip off the lights. If you were to think about the ceiling right here. Do you guys see the tracks that are going this way that hold up the ceiling tiles? Those all represent parallel lines, like the lines going this way are parallel, or the lines going this way are parallel. But when you say lines that never meet, this line across that wall right there that holds the wall and the ceiling together, and this line right here across the floor will also never meet. Where are you been, dude? Who sent you to LC? Did you not show me your pass from the nurse? She said she gave you a pass like 10 minutes ago. Because I called looking for you. So if I call Miss Jan down in ALC, she'll say that you were down there? Mr. Strolick, he'll say that you've been down there? Okay, did nurse Mary find you? Okay, let's see. All right, so parallel lines are never gonna meet, they're never gonna intersect, they're also in the same plane. So this line is never gonna intersect this line either, but they lie in different planes. So you have to remember that they lie in the same plane, meaning the same like flat piece of paper, if you wanna think about it like that, okay? So the first thing that we're gonna do is talk about parallel lines, perpendicular. What about perpendicular lines? What do we know about those? They meet at 90 degrees, or perpendicular lines form right angles. That's the definition. Perpendicular lines form right angles. So the first thing that we have here is a review. We're taking this equation. What form is this in? We learned it yesterday. That is not slope-intercept form. Yeah, this is in point-slope form. This is written in point-slope form. And we're going to take this equation and write it in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And we're also going to write it in standard form. Capital A times x plus capital B times y equals c. Braden, do you not have a pencil?
I do.
Okay, let's get it out and use it, please. Manuel, we're on page 54 of your notes. I want you to get them out and take them, or you can come and stand back here by me, bud. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to take this equation and make it look like y equals mx plus b? We did this yesterday. Yeah, the first thing that we're going to do is distribute. We're going to distribute. So we're going to take that -3 and multiply it through the parenthesis. So let's see. -3 times x is -3x. -3 times -5 is a positive 15. And then what? We're going to subtract 2 from both sides. Brian, what are you looking at on your computer?
Canvas.
Yeah, can you just, you guys don't need your computers open. So if you're scrolling on your screens or sending text messages, emails, whatever, that's not what you need to be doing. So just, you don't have to close them all the way, but turn your screens down a little bit. That's not what you're focused on. Thank you. Everybody, slope it down. You don't need your screens open. You don't have to close it all the way. Okay, so is this in slope-intercept form? Yes, it is. Y equals -3x plus 13. Shh. How do I turn this into standard form? How do I take this equation and make it standard? Yeah, we're going to take this equation and I'm going to add 3x to both sides. So when I do that, I have 3x plus y equals 13. Does this model this? Does it reflect that? Yeah, it does. So that's in standard form. What do you guys know about standard form? Do you remember from yesterday things you know about standard form? Can anyone rattle off the specifics of standard form for me? Look at your notes from yesterday. Standard form, what do we know? A is positive. A, B, and C are integers. What else? Do we say anything else about it? Do we say that A and B both can't be 0? Okay. I don't know if we did or not. All right, next one. Here we go. So we're going to graph these equations. So I want to talk to you. I don't think that we talked about graphing from point slope form yesterday. So I'm going to take the point slope form of the equation and I'm going to write it down here. And that's really what I want to graph. So I want to graph y plus 2, God bless you, equals -3 times x minus 5. Sorry, thank you. So talk to me about, remember point slope form, y minus y1 equals m times the quantity of x minus x sub 1. So I know that this is my slope. M equals -3 over 1. That means I'm going to go down 3 and to the right 1. This is my point, x sub 1, and this is my y sub 1. But the parent function is set up to say minus x sub 1, and I have a minus x sub 1, but it's also set up so that it says minus y sub 1. And this does not say minus, it says plus. What does that mean?
That's actually a really good question.
Okay, well, let's look. I just wrote it up there. What is minus a negative? What? Minus a negative isn't negative. What happens when we minus a negative? It turns into a positive. So really, y sub 1 is a -2. So the ordered pair that we're looking at is 5, -2. So you can actually start at the ordered pair 5, -2, and from there, count your slope. Down 1, 2, 3 over 1. Down 1, 2, 3 over 1. Remember, if you can't go down 3 and to the right 1, what else can you do?
Up 3 to the left 1.
Mrs. Bischoff. Hey, I'm sorry I didn't call you back. He showed up. He said that he was sent an ALC. Yes. All right. That's okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye. So if I can't go down and to the right, what can I do? I can go up and to the left. So let's go up 3 and to the left 1 from the point that we started at, that 5, -2. Up 1, 2, 3 to the left 1. Up 1, 2, 3 to the left 1. This should tell you where your y-intercept is. Up 1, 2, 3 to the left 1. So if your graph was big enough, you'd figure out where you're crossing your y-axis. Okay? So you can graph from point slope form. We didn't do that yesterday. You can graph from point slope form. Mr. Hussey, can you come back here and stand by me so we can take some notes? Thank you, sir. Just right here.
We're still on page 54, right?
We're going to page 55 now. We just finished page 54.
Dude,
Okay.
I can't see that.
Well, so you can look at my screen because because you're sitting in a place where you could see and you're choosing to not take any notes. So, right there. Okay, so definition of parallel lines. We already talked about that this morning. Two or more lines. So two or more lines that are in the same plane. And they never intersect. They're in the same plane and they never intersect. Two or more lines that are in the same plane and they never intersect. So if I were to call them line 1 and line 2, the symbol that we use to say that line 1 is parallel to line 2 is this. Two straight lines. Almost looks like the number 11 or two L's together. Okay? If the two lines are never going to intersect, that means that they have the same slant. And slant describes their slope. So that means that they have the same slope. So their slopes are equal. Their slopes are equal. So it asks for an example. So I'm just going to make up two equations. So I'm going to say that line 1 is the equation y equals 1/2 x plus 3. Maybe if my pen will work. And line 2 is the equation y equals 1/2 x minus 4. I'm just trying to make these the same as the filled in notes. So how do I graph the first equation? Y equals 1/2 x plus 3. Where do I begin? 3 on the y-axis. And from there I count my slope. Up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. How many times do you need to do that? Yeah, you should have at least 3 points. Okay? So I'm going to draw this line. And I'm going to label it line 1. When I graph line 2, it's the equation y equals 1/2 x minus 4. Emmanuel, pick your head up, or you can come and stand back here by me. Pick up your pencil. We're going to take some notes. Maya, are you awake for me? Thank you, ma'am. So where am I going to begin here? Begin at -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Begin at -4. It also has the slope of 1/2, the same slant. So these lines are going to go on forever and never intersect. So there's a way to look at a diagram and determine that the lines are parallel in a diagram. Let me change the color. And it looks like this. If it's a colored diagram, these are usually red or pink. But they put little triangles on the line, meaning that these two lines are parallel to each other. They're typically red triangles. Disappearing act. Okay. So those two lines are parallel to each other. Now let's go over to the perpendicular lines. Let's talk about the definition. So Kian told us that perpendicular lines make 90 degrees or form right angles. So two lines that form right angles. How do you know if you have a right angle when two lines intersect? What should you look for? What do you think, Kian? I drew it yesterday on the board because the when we were talking about horizontal lines, not a triangle. What am I looking for right here? Yeah, a square. There'll be a little square in the corner. That shows that those two lines are perpendicular to each other. That shows that those two lines are perpendicular to each other. So the symbol, if I wanted to say that line 1 is perpendicular to line 2, the symbol is an upside down capital T. It's an upside down capital T. So let's talk about their slopes. Slopes are opposite. When I say opposite, what does that refer to? Refers to the sign positive or negative. Reciprocals. And that means flip the fraction. So their slopes are opposite reciprocals. So we got to change the sign and flip the fraction. Change the sign and flip the fraction. That's exactly what that means. So I said that line 1 is y equals 2/3 x plus 5. So line 1 is the equation y equals 2/3 x plus 5. So I'm going to graph that. I'm going to begin at positive 5 on my y-axis. I'm going to go up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3. This is so good for you. It keeps you so awake. I love it. This is fabulous. Yes.
What?
I love that.
When I'm dancing?
Yes, I love it that you're dancing.
I'm emoting on all the haters.
I love it. And line 2 is the equation y equals negative 3/2 x minus 1. So I'm going to begin at negative 1. And I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3 over 2. Down 1, 2, 3 over 2. I could also go up 3 and to the left 2. Oops, that would be right here, sorry. So here's my line. I need to put that little box in the middle. That says that those are perpendicular to each other. Those are two perpendicular lines. When I look at their slopes, the slope of line 1 is 2 over 3. It's positive. And the slope of line 2 is negative 3 over 2. There's something very interesting about those two numbers. And it's kind of a way to check to see if two lines are perpendicular to each other without graphing them. And if you take their slopes, 2 over 3 times negative 3 over 2, what are you going to get? You're going to get negative 6 over 6, which reduces to what? Negative 1. So that's something that you want to add onto your paper. So I'm going to try to write it in red. However, my marker is not letting me change colors today. And red doesn't show up for you, so maybe that's a good thing. I'm trying to write it in any color that's different.
I can't see red.
I don't think anyone can see the...
No, like literally, I can't see.
You can't see red?
I can't see red. Or green, or yellow.
So I want to write, if our little OneNote will respond, I want to write that the product of their slopes equals -1. We want to write that the product of their slopes equals -1. The product of their slopes equals -1. If it'll come up for us. So perpendicular lines underneath where it says slopes are opposite reciprocals. I still don't have a marker. Are you writing this down? Dance Boogie? The product of their slopes is -1. I want you to write that.
I wrote the formula that's on there.
So just write that note right there. So if you have the filled out notes, you have to add that, okay? The product of their slopes is -1. So now we're going to do some examples. Does everybody have that? The product of their slopes is -1. So we're going to start with examples of parallel lines. So writing equations for parallel lines. So we're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through this point, and it's parallel to this equation. So the first thing that you have to know is, what is the slope of the given equation? What is the slope of the given equation? It's 2, so it has a slope of 2/1. What do we know about parallel lines? They have the same what? They have the same slope.
Something, yeah.
So that means that don't do that. So we know that the parallel lines are also going to have a slope of 2/1. Whoops, I wrote 2/2. Sorry, guys. 2/1. I don't know what else to say. We're just going to scribble it out. So we're going to write it in point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. So this is my point. I'm using the ordered pair -3, 5. That's your x1 and that's your y1. You know that your slope is 2.
Is that a 3 and a 5?
A -3 and a 5,
Okay.
yes, sir. So what's that going to do? What's that going to look like in the equation? Y minus 5 equals 2 times the quantity. X minus a negative becomes what? Plus 3. This is not written in slope-intercept form. This is in point-slope form. I have to change it. I have to put it in slope-intercept form. So what does that look like? Distribute your 2. Y minus 5 equals 2x plus 6. Add 5 to both sides. Y equals 2x plus 11. Y equals 2x plus 11. I'm going to graph this line using the slope and the given point, not the equation, but the slope and the given point. So I'm going to start at the point -3, 5, and then I'm going to count a slope of up 2/1. So I'm going to start at the point -3, positive 5. So -1, 2, 3, positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And from there, I'm going to count my slope up 2/1, up 2/1. And I could also go down 2 into the left one. So this is the line that we just wrote the equation for. The given line, y equals 2x minus 4, down 1, 2, 3, 4, has a slope of 2 over 1.
What you doing the next one? I might just like spoil the answer for the whole class.
That'd be excellent. Don't do that. Okay. I really want to just focus on writing the equations. I know that you guys know how to graph y equals mx plus b. So begin at 4, or negative 4, sorry, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. So our next example, different than the first one because it doesn't give us a y equals mx plus b equation. What kind of a line is this? It's what?
Close.
I heard parallel. And what'd you say, Kian? Parallel as well. What kind of line is that? We did this yesterday. Or the day before.
Is it just the one that goes
Yes, what's that called?
horizontal?
It's a horizontal line.
That's what I was gonna
This
say.
one's like just one of those that only goes
It just goes through the y-axis. So what is the slope of a horizontal line?
0.
It's 0. So the line that's parallel to it also has a slope of 0. So y equals 8. Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's this line right here. This is the line y equals 8. What is the equation of the line that's parallel to that going to be that passes through the point 4, 6? Passes through the point 4, 6. It's not going to be 6. It's not just 6. What is the equation? It's y equals 6. Yeah. Because remember, it's just the y coordinate that we're worried about. So the parallel line is at 6 on the y-axis. It's the point y equals 6.
Renew it.
Say? Yes. Okay, flip flop.
Wait. What page?
Next page. We should be on 57 or 56 now. All right. So this one has us writing an equation in slope-intercept form for a line that passes through this point, except that what's weird about this equation that they give us? It's in what form? That's not in slope-intercept form. What form is this? What form is this in? It's in standard. This is in standard. So we have to put it into slope-intercept form to figure out the slope of the line. Otherwise, we can't do our we can't solve for the slope. So 3x plus 6y equals 8. I need to solve for y. What do I do first to get y all by itself? Subtract 3x. Yeah.
3x plus 6y equals 8.
Mhm.
Okay.
Here.
Oh.
So 6y equals negative 3x plus 8. Then what do I do? Yeah, divide everything by 6. And really, the only thing that I need to know is what? What am I looking for in this equation? I'm looking for the slope. I'm looking for the slope. So my slope is negative 3 over 6, which reduces to negative 1 over 2. 8 over 6, both of those can be divided by 2, reduces to 4 over 3. This is what I need. This is my slope. So the slope of the first line is negative 1/2. If it's parallel to the other line, that means that the other line also has to have a slope of negative 1/2. Passes through the point 1, 1.
That's what I was gonna say.
So this 1, 1 is my x sub 1, y sub 1. Write the equation in point slope form for me. Someone help me out. We're going to use this slope and then these two values right here and plug them into this equation. What do you think, Jerry? You think you could write the equation? You want me calling someone else? Dominic, help Jerry out.
Y minus 1 equals negative 1/2
Times the quantity.
and quantity of x minus 1.
Perfect. Okay, so this is in what form? I'm writing it up there. What form is that? That's point slope. We need it to be in slope intercept form. How do I do that? Yeah, I have to distribute this 1/2. So y minus 1 equals negative 1/2 times x is negative 1/2 x. Negative 1/2 times negative 1 is positive 1/2. And then I'm going to add 1 to both sides. What is another way to write the whole number 1 so it's a fraction with a denominator of 2? Say
2 over.
2 over,
Oh god, I just had it. 2 over.
I want it to just reduce to 1. So 2 over what?
2 over 2.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you're
I had a
fine.
brain
No, I love
freeze.
that. 2 over 2 is the same thing as the whole number 1. So y equals negative 1/2 x. 1/2 plus 2/2 is 3/2. This is my equation in slope intercept form.
So is this the solution to all my problems?
No, it's not.
Oh.
I don't know what all your problems are, though.
I have a lot.
We'll go to that later. I'm going to skip this next one. I'm going to skip this next one. And we're going to jump down to perpendicular lines. So remember that perpendicular lines have opposite, changes the sign, reciprocal, flip the fraction, slopes. Okay? So tell me about this equation, Amaya. What form is this equation written in? It's in standard. Good job, ma'am. I need to turn this into what form? I need to put it in slope intercept so I can figure out what the slope is. 2x plus 3y equals 12. Leslie, what would you like me to do first?
Who's that?
Right here. Minus 2x from both sides.
I'm just now learning everyone's
I know, it's good
names.
for you to stand back here so you can learn everybody in the class. That's perfect. Then you can help pass back papers.
Or we're gonna do like icebreakers and stuff.
No. Now what? What should I do next? Lainey. Not Elaney, Lainey. Divide everything by 3.
Who's that?
Elaney is here, blonde. Lainey back here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my marker stopped working. Hang on. Divide by 3. Everything by 3, right? So y equals negative 2 over 3x. And Braden, 12 divided by 3 is
4.
4 plus 4.
4 on a good day.
So the slope is what I'm looking for. My slope is negative 2 over 3. So the line that's perpendicular to this has the opposite reciprocal. Opposite means change the sign. Opposite means change the sign. So if the slope of the original line is negative, the slope of this line is going to be positive. So I'm going to put a positive there just so you know that we changed the sign. And then reciprocal, what does that mean to do to your fraction? Flip it. So Emmanuel, instead of it being 2 over 3, it's going to now be what?
Who's Emmanuel? Oh, I thought that was E2 Shiesty.
3 over 2, good job. All right. So what point is this passing through? It's passing through the point -4, 6. So I'm going to use this slope and the point -4, 6. And I have to write an equation in point slope form. This is my x sub 1 and my y sub 1.
Can I answer?
No, you cannot. But I appreciate you asking. Mrs. Bischoff. Yes. Okay. All right, thank you very much. As soon as I get done teaching, I'll see if I can't sneak down there. Thank you, dear. I appreciate it. All right, bye-bye. Okay, come on. All right, so point slope. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity of x minus x sub 1. Braden, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Uh-oh.
What is the value of y sub 1?
According to my calculations, I don't know.
You have it written on the board, and I didn't label it on the filled in notes. So look up there. Can you see it? Look right here.
Y sub 1. Oh, 6.
So minus 6 equals, what is my slope? Are you watching me?
3 halves.
3 halves times the quantity x minus, what's x sub 1?
X sub 1 is -4.
So what do I do for minus and negative?
Yeah, it's a positive.
I'm going to turn that into plus. Yeah, plus 4.
That's what I do with my money.
I love that. I love that.
I don't subtract.
Shh, that's good. Okay, so listen up. Turn this into, I'm going to freeze the screen while this is waiting for it to respond. I want you guys to turn that into slope-intercept form. I hope you can see it through the fog. Turn it into slope. You already have it done? Well, you're going to have to wait for me because...
So is there like a z's of 1, too? Like the z coordinate? Like
There
when,
is.
Like when you're playing Minecraft?
There's a z-coordinate.
I know that, but like, are we going to work with that?
You will in math 3.
3? Like, so how does this like help me find diamonds?
I don't think that we're helping you find diamonds at all.
Oh,
Was that my goal, to help you mine diamonds?
yeah. Like, well, pre 1.17, we would do y's of negative, not negative, but 12, and then post 1.16, we would do y's of -58.
I love that. So what did we get for this equation, guys and gals? Because I had to restart the program again.
Y equals 3 halves x plus 12.
Yes. Y equals 3 halves x plus 12.
You can also get netherite at y's of 15.
Okay. Did everybody get that? Do I need to work that one out? Do you want to see how that happened? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Because I will. Okay. So I'm going to work it right over here. Y minus 6 equals 3 halves times the quantity of x plus 4. When I distribute, I get 3 halves x, 3 halves of 4. 3 times 4 is 12 over 2. What does 12 over 2 reduce to?
6.
6. So,
Wait, 6?
yeah.
So how does this affect LeBron's legacy?
Okay, Braden, you're this close to going downstairs, and I don't want to send you downstairs, but you're being disruptive. Can you please stop that?
Yes,
I know
ma'am.
you're trying to be funny,
No.
and you are funny,
I'm
and I love it,
serious.
but this is not helping. Add 6 to both sides. Y equals 3 halves x plus 12. That's how we made that happen. Okay. We're going to do one more example. What about this line? This is the line x. This is the line your y is cut off or my y is cut off. Y equals -5. What kind of line is that? It's horizontal.
So the slope is 0.
So the slope is 0. So if a line is perpendicular to that, what kind of line is that? A vertical line. So what is the slope of a vertical line? It's undefined. But what do we know about vertical lines? If horizontal lines have the equation y equals, vertical lines have the equation,
X equals.
and what is the x coordinate of the ordered pair? 5. So y equals -5 is a horizontal line going through -5 on your y-axis. And my vertical line, y equals +5, is perpendicular to the horizontal line. Y equals -5. We have one more example on the back, and then I'll get you guys started on your work, okay? One more example on the back. You're doing great.
Work.
So passing through the point 2,5, we're passing through the point 2,5. I'm not really sure why we're doing this.
Yeah, me neither, to be honest.
I mean, this program, why it's not
Oh.
working.
I thought I was talking about math.
No, I'm going to do this last one on the board, unless it's going to work for us. So we're passing through the point 2,5 and it's perpendicular. What's the equation of the given line? Can you determine anything from the given line? Do you guys see this line right here? What can you tell me about this line? It's in point slope form. So that means that my slope is what? My slope is 3/2.
It's hot in here.
Slope is 3/2. So the perpendicular slope is going to be opposite and reciprocal, -2/3. -2/3. It's passing through the point 2,5. So let's write that in point slope form. This is x1 and y1. Who feels like they can do that without me writing point slope parent form out again? Y minus y1. Kian, you got it? Go ahead. So y minus 5 equals my slope. What's my slope? -2/3 times the quantity x minus x1. What's that value? 2.